Hello everyone, welcome to Carnivorous Plants Hub. About 47 days ago, I pulled a bunch of leaves from my Pinguicula plants and set them aside for propagation. Today we're finally going to see how they turned out. Does this method produce high strike rates, or was this batch a total dud? Stick around to see how these leaf pullings performed. If you've never propagated Pinguicula from leaf pullings before, don't worry. First, I'll quickly show you exactly how I collected and placed all these leaves. Then we'll take a look at all the results after the 47 days and see which pullings were the most successful. Make sure to stick around until the end because I'll show you my exact setup, lighting, watering routine, and care I used to get the results so you can try it for yourself. Before we take a look at the 47-day update, let's do a quick refresher on how I collected and set up the leaf pullings. In my opinion, Pinguicula are one of the easiest carnivorous plants to propagate. You can take leaf pullings at almost any time, but it's quite a bit easier to grab the pullings when you're repotting or moving the plants. I usually like to take leaves from the bottom of the plant rather than the top. That way I can grab a few leaves without really affecting the appearance of the plant. Whenever I repot a Pinguicula, I like to clean up the dead leaves and then grab a few healthy leaves for propagation. To do that, get as close to the growth point as possible and give the leaf a gentle tug. Pinguicula are fairly delicate plants, so getting a good pulling usually isn't very difficult. In fact, if a healthy leaf falls off while you're handling the plant, don't just throw it away, you can propagate that one too. There's really no reason to let any of these leaves go to waste. Once you have your leaf pullings, simply place them on top of the tray of substrate with the side that was attached to the growth point up in the air. The tray doesn't need to be deep, this one is only a couple of inches deep since the Pinguicula have very shallow root systems. If you don't have any substrate, you can also use a damp paper towel. The main downside is that paper towels dry out much faster, so you'll need to pay closer attention to the watering. The roots can also grow into the paper towel, making the young plants a little harder to separate later. Sometimes when you remove them from the paper towels, you can accidentally damage the roots. Personally, I prefer substrate because once the baby plants start growing, they're already in their permanent home. There's no need to transplant them and disturb the roots later on. If you want more in-depth information about the pullings and the setup, watch the video that's going to pop up on the screen at the end of this video. I cover this part of the process in a lot better depth. Alright, and real quick before I show you the 47-day results, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to pour some water on the like button and subscribe to help the channel grow. And if you're looking for high quality supplies for your carnivorous plants, be sure to check out carnivorousplanthub.com. I currently have my Premium Pinguicula substrate and repotting kits available. I also currently have a few live Pinguicula Sethos left. That's the exact plants that I'm featuring on today's video. They usually go pretty quick, so make sure and grab them while they're still available. If you already have a ping, grab a bag of my premium substrate so you can start propagating your own pings today. You'll also find repotting kit supplies for Venus flytraps, Sarracenia, sundews, plus other carnivorous plant accessories. There are links in the pinned comment and the video description. Okay, now let's take a look at these leaf pullings. This is after 47 days or about a month and a half. Starting on this end, most of these aren't actually leaf pullings. These are the tiny Pinguicula that I didn't really have a place for, so I added them to the tray. Just look at how much they've grown. A few of them are actually already over an inch across. You might notice that many of these plants are still pretty green. That's because they've spent most of their time under the humidity dome, which kept them further away from the grow lights. I recently removed the dome and moved them closer to the light, and you can already see the new growth starting to turn pink. It's a great example of how much coloration can change based on the light intensity. As we move through the tray, you can easily spot the plants that came from leaf pullings. In many cases, you can still see the original leaf attached to the baby plant. One thing I find really interesting is how different all the propagations look. Some are bright green, some are more pink, and they're all at different stages of development. A few leaves have only recently started producing new growth, while others have already produced well-established baby plants. The amount of variation after just 47 days is honestly pretty amazing. You can also see that not every leaf pulling was successful, but the strike rate is still incredibly high. Most of these leaves have produced at least one new plant, and some have produced multiple babies coming from a single pulling. Make sure to stick around because in a minute I'm going to show you exactly how I cared for these leaf pullings to get such high success rate. At this pace, in another few months, this tray should be completely filled with the bigger pings. With the right care and a little bit of patience, you can easily produce dozens of new plants from just a handful of leaf pullings. I turned down the camera exposure just a little bit for this close-up so you can really appreciate how amazing these plants look. Even at this tiny size, they're already producing plenty of sticky dew that are capable of catching small prey like fungus gnats and fruit flies. Let's talk about my setup and exactly how I cared for these leaf pullings to produce the results you just saw. I'm growing them under the Barina grow lights. These are 24-watt bar style lights. The pigs have been sitting under the lights on a wire shelf that I bought on Amazon. I do want to apologize for the pink tint that you're seeing on some of the footage. When I originally purchased these lights, I didn't realize that they had the full spectrum 24-watt bar lights in white instead of the pink. My newer setup uses the white lights, and honestly, I like that look a lot better. I'm linking the white Barina grow lights and everything else that you see in the description and pinned comment below. For most of this propagation project, the plants sat about 12 inches below the lights inside of a humidity dome. That's actually a little further away than I would typically keep them, which is why many of the plants are still fairly green. For propagation though, that's perfectly fine. At this stage, we're focused on producing baby plants, not maximizing color. For the propagation to be successful, you really don't need super powerful lighting. The most important part of this entire process is keeping the leaves alive long enough to produce the new growth. If the leaves dry out, they can die very quickly. That's why I keep the substrate consistently moist and the humidity extremely high. I don't let water pool up and become muddy, but I also never let the surface of the substrate dry out. The humidity dome helps keep the leaf pullings as close to 100% humidity as possible, which dramatically increases the chances of success. I would recommend leaving the humidity dome on for probably 40 days or until the leaf pullings have produced well-established baby plants. A few of mine are still producing tiny plantlets when I remove the dome, but the majority were already established and growing their own roots. Once the new plants are established, they really don't need the extra humidity anymore. At that point, I remove the dome and move them closer to the light. You can see my setup here after removing the humidity dome. I actually placed the tray on top of the dome to bring the plants closer to the lights. They've been in this setup for about a week now, which is why they're still mostly green. However, you can already see the newest growth beginning to turn pink. I found that keeping the Pinguicula about 4 inches below these lights on a 12-hour timer produces a really nice balance of pink coloration while still maintaining some green in their leaves. As for fertilizer, I don't use any. I've never found it necessary for Pinguicula. They grow incredibly fast on their own. So if you want to replicate these results, keep the leaf pullings very humid, keep the substrate consistently moist, leave the humidity dome on for roughly 40 days, and then move the young plants closer to the light once they're established. If you're interested in growing your own Pinguicula Sethos, I still have a few available on my website at carnivorousplantshub.com. They ship bare root, and I also carry substrate and planters to help get your new plants established. Before long, you'll be pulling leaves and starting your own propagation projects. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more carnivorous plant content. And if you'd like to see the original video where I potted and divided my entire Pinguicula Sethos collection, click the video that's popping up on the screen right now. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate your support, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Bye!